Have you ever wondered what a construction loan is and how you can use that to actually build a home on land? In this episode, I'm going to share with you what it is and how you go about that. Welcome everyone to this episode of the Ask Jason Gelios show. I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor. I had a great question. Actually, it's not the first time that I've been asked, but I wanted to dive into this because the housing inventory is still low. We don't have enough homes to meet buyer demand. And so what's happening is people are considering, even though the price is a lot higher, about 20 to 30% more than a used home to build a new home, many people are considering buying land and then building a home. So I wanted to share with you what type of loan you would get for that and kind of how that process works. Which, by the way, we're compared to 12 months prior, okay? So this time last year, right now we are 46% less inventory available compared to this time last year. So no wonder people are thinking, well, maybe I should build a home. Although labor, there's a labor shortage, which means labor costs are high. The price of lumber has skyrocketed. It's about double for the supplies, right, in terms of cost. So I want to dive into this. Now, I asked this in all my episodes, and if you're new to this show, you're going to hear it for the first time here. But if you're not following me on social media, go ahead and do that. I have all the links in the description below. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on future episodes of the Ask Jason Gelios show, as well as in between videos that I post. Okay, now we're going to dive into this, okay? So if you're looking to build a home on land, you wouldn't just really get a normal 30-year fixed or a 15-year fixed conventional loan, okay? You would actually get what's called a construction loan. So a construction loan is a short-term loan. It's typically about a year or less. Many lenders, have it go out to about a year. If something happens, and you probably have to refinance it. But most homes are built within a year. And then it's usually packed with a higher interest rate, okay, just because it is short term, right? Lenders want to get their money. So towards the end of your construction loan, or rather when the home is actually built, you have to have a certificate of occupancy. Sometimes the builder gets that, sometimes you have to get that. The majority of the time, though, the builder will obtain that when the home is finished and they pass final inspection. They get that certificate of occupancy, or C of O, okay? So I put together some things here that I want to cover. So what does a construction loan actually cover? Well, it covers cost of your land, the labor, okay? Which, by the way, this is assuming that you're actually okay. If you're in the pre-built side, this does not apply towards if you are driving through a subdivision or an area and the builder already has one complete. This is if you're starting from the ground up. So whether you're meeting with the builder for the first time and you're talking about this, and they have the steps, or if you're having a custom builder where you buy the land. Like in the rural area, you see this often where a custom builder will work directly with the client to build on this particular land that they choose. Okay, but it covers, the cost of the land, the labor, and then building materials as well as permits. Okay, so the builder walks you through and they say, okay, at this stage, I need, X amount of money, 20, 30 grand, let's just say, because they're going to pour the basement, right? And so there's steps. Now, usually with construction loans, there's actually a contingency reserve to cover unexpected costs. Let's say you're going through the process, right? And you're like, oh, you know what? We want to upgrade this part. We want to make the garage an extra foot deeper, or whatever the case may be, right? So there's a little cushion that allows for upgrades. Do I recommend doing that? Well, no, but as you're going through the process, you might change your mind and be like, you know what? We do want to upgrade the furnishings, or change little things here and there, okay? So how does a construction loan work? Well, again, they have a higher interest rate. It's usually a variable rate. It's typically not a fixed rate, okay? Because they want you to ride the prime rate, okay? It goes up and down. which if you're buying right now, mortgage rate, it's March 2021, the rates are on a gradual increase. So if you were to get a construction loan now, you would expect that rate to go up a little bit. Okay, and I say a little bit. I mean, some people are saying that it's going to go up huge. It's not. I mean, it just doesn't. Okay, so you typically have a draw schedule, which is if you think home equity line, right, where you say, okay, I can, if it's an open line of credit, home equity line, you can take the funds as you need it. Well, okay, you have to have some kind of draw schedule, and usually builders will give you the steps. Like, okay, tell your lender that before we go, or when we're ready to pour the basement or slab or whatever your house will be on, or even if they're getting the land ready, they need a certain amount at this step, that step, this step, or stage, right? So that's how that works. And then the lender pays out what you need for those steps. So you'll be in contact with the lender often. Now, while the home's being built, okay, there's inspectors that check the house during the process. Appraiser might actually do that too, to make sure that that everything's on track. And then what happens is then the home gets finished, and then you typically refinance it into your regular conventional loan, 30-year, 15-year, whatever you're going to do. Okay, so there's different types of construction loans, and so I was talking about the general terms. Okay, now there's one where you can do, this is actually probably the most popular that I've seen and even heard about, and that's the construction to permanent loan. And this is where the construction loan, just like I kind of mentioned a little bit ago, where you get the funds to build the dwelling, right, the property, and then it converts into a regular, I guess, permanent loan. It could be, but most people don't really stay in their houses for 30 years. Some do, but most don't right now. So the loan gets converted once you move in, okay, to a permanent mortgage. Okay, or actually when you close on it, you move in, everything's all good. There's no more building going on as far as the builder's obligations, okay? And it's a one-time closing, so you don't pay duplicate things. Now, there's another construction-only loan where this is actually a straight-up construction loan, and then you do a refinance, an actual refinance. Instead of it just converting with a one-time close, you'd essentially be closing twice. Many people don't like this. There are some people that probably, like this. But usually people do the first one that I mentioned, the construction to permanent loan, because you don't have to pay all these extra fees, okay? So, and by the way, yeah, your overall fees will be less. Now, I mean, you could do a renovation loan. This isn't common, at least in my state of Michigan, Southeast Michigan, I should say. But you could basically, like a renovation loan would be if you were upgrading, doing like adding on an addition to a home, things like that. So we're not going to touch into that a lot. Some people will also do a regular refinance cash out, where they pull cash out from the equity. Here's another one, owner builder construction loan. All right, owner builder loans, they're construction or construction only loans where the borrower also acts in the capacity of the home builder. So they, I'm an owner / builder and I want to build the house myself. So you can do something like that. But again, that's not typical. Most people hire a builder to actually do that. Now, here's the thing is you really, in terms of construction loans, you really want to make sure that you do your homework and that you have a builder in mind, and that they kind of give you a heads up as to what to expect in terms of what you want. So you tell the builder what you want. I want this type of square footage, this type of home, ranch or colonial or split level, however you're doing. I want it on a basement. Or try to get all the costs up front and then add a little bit of a cushion, okay? Always do that, okay? Now here's a little tidbit about how to get a home construction loan, okay? Now, oh, by the way, you also want to make sure that you meet with an architect who one is qualified in residential homes, even if it's in a rural area. Do they do commercial, or do they do residential? Residential expert, that's what you want for an architect, okay? So you want to make sure that they've actually, designed everything how you want it. That way the builder could look at it and go, okay, this is what. And you want to make sure that the land that you choose, if you're not going through land that the builder owns, right? Like in a subdivision, they own the land and they just build on it. You just talk about the house. If you're doing a custom build where you're choosing the land, you want to make sure that the land is accessible for a home, water, electric, all that stuff, okay? And then basically the normal things apply: credit, income, debt to income ratio. Most of the time, you have to have a 20% down payment, okay? Now check with the lenders on that, but some of the lenders that I've spoken to about construction loans, they typically want a 20% down payment just in case, okay? So that's basically, I guess, in a nutshell, although, I kind of dove into this pretty deep, but this is what you would do. This is the process of actually getting land and or a construction loan, and then working with builders and an architect to build your home. And so many people are considering this option just because it's very hard to find used inventory, although I see inventory increasing a little bit and buyer demand is slowing down a little bit, but that's another video that I'll be doing in my real estate updates. So I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor. Oh, by the way, be sure to visit my website. It's allabouttherealestate.com. Sign up to receive my weekly videos, my Ask Jason Gelios show, every week in your email. It's free, no spam, just helpful tips and other articles that I share in there as well for homeowners and whatnot. So really appreciate you guys watching. Have a great week. Thanks everyone for watching this episode of the Ask Jason Gelios show. Be sure to visit the links in the description below to pick up your copy of my real estate book, Think Like a Realtor. It's a little book about buying and selling residential real estate through the eyes of a realtor. It's real world advice, tips, whether you're a new agent in the business or you are a home buyer or even looking to sell a home. This is great advice. So I really appreciate it if you guys visit those links, pick up your copy, and go ahead and share a review, good or bad, if you like it, if you hate it, okay? But get your copy today. Thank you.